Hello, my name is Ivy and welcome to the Mama Zone. Karibu sana. So the day is 24th June 2024. I'm watching the 9 p.m. news, which is a miracle, but something amazing is showing up on my screen. Gen Z have decided they're going to shake this country. They're going to go out and make our government quake in its boots. They are going to speak their mind. They are going to challenge the status quo. And I'm at home in my pajamas thinking, wow, I want to be a part of that. I want to be a part of that movement. But, I have to do something. I can't just be an observer. I mean, wacha nitafute role hata mimi niingie hapo nifanye kitu, because these guys have come with courage that we've not seen before. So ni lazima nijipatie kazi. So instead of going to bed, I went into a Google rabbit hole and I researched all the things that I would need for a protest. One thing that stood out was they were being hit with tear gas. And so I wanted to help figure out how to reduce that pain of tear gas, because I have been tear gassed before na si mchezo. Wacha niwaambie, I've been tear gassed huko hizo my sides za Odeon. Ile time watu walikuwa wanafanya protest ya my body my choice, mimi nilichapwa hapo na expired tear gas. I remember certain sides of my memory have not recovered since then. So I knew I had to play a major role. So on my Google search, I stumbled on, you need to spray people with water on their eyes in order to, help reduce the sting of the tear gas. Sasa mimi huyo nilijua nimepata kazi yangu. With conviction, I knew I found my role in the Gen Z protests. Mimi huyo 7 a.m. niko Chandarana, first thing in the morning. Tunakutana hapo na askari akifungua akiniuliza, "Madam, umekuja?" Namwambia, nimekuja. Wapi spray can zenu? Nimekuja kununua zote, mimi sina mchezo leo. Na unaenda wapi? Mimi naenda maandamano. Ndio umevaa hivyo? Hizi trainers ni za kukimbia. Nikipenya nipenye hivi. Unajua nisishikwe, niko na familia. So I have to come back home. Akaniambia sawa madam, ende utupiganie huko mbele. Nikasema yes sir. Akaniingisha ndani ya supermarket. Tukanunua spray bottle zote. Zile zimeandikwa flower power, hizo za yellow. Unajua hizo za yellow, mimi huyo nimechukua zote, hata nikapatiwa mpaka gunia. Nikatoka Chandarana, niliuliza madam, are you doing an agricultural project? Nikasema no, I am going to fight for our rights. This is going to be the spray bottle of our rights, and our dignity will be recovered through what I will do today. They're like, okay, whatever you're smoking, young lady, wacha tu endelea tu, lipa na bili yako na uende. Nikaenda. I came home. My house manager, who is now my nanny by the way, akaniuliza, na hizi tunafanya nini nazo? Nikasema kwanza chemsha maji. Chemsha maji kuwe safi sana, pure water. Alafu ipoe, ikuwe distilled, ujaze hizi machupa. Alafu niweke kwa ile bag. That time I've just taken my husband's motorcycle bag, the really cool bag that he uses for riding his motorcycles. Nimejaza machupa ya flower power. Yes, that's what I'm doing. Nikapigia marafiki zangu, tumeagree tunakutana opposite Jivanji Gardens, kuna ka hotel, hata sikumbuki jina. Ni mimi huyo na backpack yangu, nimeshika boda, nikaenda moja kwa moja town. The day began, and so we began maandamaning together. Mimi huyo with my role clear, my conviction as bright as the sun, nilikuwa nakimbia pahali action ilikuwa uko mbele. I leave my friends, naenda kutafuta pahali naona police akichukua tear gas anaenda kuchapa crowd, mimi niko huyo. Nikisimama hapo, I was shouting, "Come here! Water! I can spray water on your eyes. It will stop the pain of the tear gas." I'm sure many people wondered what sort of madness that was, but the good trusting people that Kenyans are came. Na mimi nikisimama hapo nasema, haya kuja karibu, pss, unasikiaje? Nikuongezee, pss, uko sawa sasa? Haya rudi. And they go back, and that became my role for the next 2 hours. Mama mwenye na mogilia watu distilled water, tanaonesha watu, angalia ni chupa ya maji. Unaona hapa imeandikwa water, ni water. Haya, leta uso. That was my very important role in the Gen Z maandamano. We did that day 1. Tukamaliza, tunakutana kwa bar, tukisikiza our president calling us terrorists. That was day 1. Day 2, tukarudi now with more anger, more courage, more conviction than ever before. We did not want the finance bill. If you notice now I'm saying we did not want the finance bill. Nikakuja na nimeongeza hata machupa. This time I even had to give people bottles, so that we can spread the gospel of distilled water across the different regions of town. Mimi huyo with my fellow patriots, pamoja tukienda fighting for our rights. Day 2 bado tukakutana kwa bar. I think this time we were told we are no longer terrorists. We are he understands, and whatever he said, I don't even remember. Yani it was such an uneventful speech from our president at that time, our leader. Very disappointing. Day 3, I am fatigued in the house. I am just wondering, why am I feeling so tired? What's wrong? I tell hubby, kuna venye sisikii poa, let me go and get checked, because there's a fatigue I'm feeling in my bones. Maybe there's something I'm coming down with. So I go to a clinic, and the first question is, Madam, are you pregnant? Look at me. I started laughing. I'm like, are you sure you are talking to the right person? Me? Pregnant? How? How now? There's no way. That is for other people. Me, motherhood is not for me. I'm going to be a dink, just to teach you what that means. I'm going to be a double income, no children household. That is me. And kashout hapo, I'm a dink. Me and my husband are dinks. Kaambiwa, we madam, shika hii nini, enda ufanye test pale utarudi. I went, I did an ultrasound uko in Kenyatta Market. That's another story for a different day. All I knew is when I got out of that clinic, if it was a clinic at all, I came out with a little picture with a little dot and the sound of a heartbeat. I was 2 months pregnant. 2 months. No symptoms. Nimechapwa hapo na tear gas, because of course I'm going where the action is. So of course I was getting tear gas shot at me as well. I inhaled several cans. I then went and partook of drinks and, among others. And here I was 2 months pregnant unknowingly. I think that is when my life changed. I was so shocked by that diagnosis. I remember coming out and vomiting, just out of sheer shock, not sure what to do, not sure where to go. I think I even went out of the clinic and sat down on the curb, not realizing that it was a curb on the main road. And I entered some type of haze, because I just, sikuwa najijua. I just knew that my life was about to change, and I started wondering whether I was ready. And the fact that I had exposed myself to all those things the day before made me wonder whether I was even fit to be a mom. There was a few minutes, or 5 or 10 minutes, I'm not even sure how long, I had, Madam, uko sawa, uko sawa. I look up and there's a police officer, the ones who normally come with their bikes. We ukai po, uko sawa? Na unakiti kwa barabara kwa nini? I'm like, police officer, pole sana. I've just discovered I'm going to be a mom. Akasema, very good, congratulations. That is the best thing that can happen to you. I'm like, I seem not to feel the same or share your joy. He's like, why? I'm like, I didn't plan for this. I didn't expect it. And I'm not sure how I feel about it. This guy spent the next 45 minutes telling me about how parenthood and fatherhood changed his life, and how he's so proud of his children. And he said something that stayed with me until now, which is, you wouldn't know that you are incomplete until the day you held this child in your arms. And he said, and you'll remember this when the time comes, but for now, it may seem overwhelming. You are also looking like you are suicidal because you're sitting on the road. So tusonge hapa kwa side. But this is not the worst thing that could happen to you. And so we parted ways. I came home. I told hubby. The guy was over the moon. He was so excited, so happy, so everything that I was not. Let's just say that. So you can imagine two people, different reactions, same household. Higher. First trimester finished because it was only a month. Towards the end of the first trimester, no issue. Second trimester began. In the middle of the second trimester, I started having some really sharp pain. Found a gynecologist, began the walk, and the gynecologist will actually join us on this podcast because our story transcends time. And we found out there was a fibroid that was growing rapidly on the uterine wall. And this fibroid, although was not a direct threat to the baby because it was attached to the wall, it was causing a lot of pain, and it was also consuming a lot of the baby's food. Unfortunately, nothing could be done about the fibroid until after baby was born. So we just had to manage the pain, manage if any bleeding was to happen, we were to quickly rush to the hospital. We just had to manage until the baby came. So trimester 2 went like that. We told our family, people cried real tears of joy. Actually, I think that was one of the best things I have ever seen, and one of the best ways I've ever felt supported was that moment in time. People were just so genuinely happy for you that you were wondering why you were not happy yourself. Because I was still trying to process and adjust. Add to that, I was so convinced I'm having a boy. So I remember when I told my friends, and we did a gender reveal here, which is, we are actually shooting from my house because I'm a mom, right? So I am not going to be going to look for new locations. Nitashoot huko. Hata niko na pajamas, hata sijaoga. Welcome to the mama zone. So I remember the gender reveal party. Watu walivaa makala zao pink. Andrew went with pink. Andrew is my husband. Me, I went with blue because nilikuwa najua ndani ya damu nitakuwa na kijana. And so when the cake was cut, because I did this amazing thing where I gave my friend the gender in an envelope. She didn't check as well. She took it to a baker. The baker then colored the cake, the gender of the baby. So none of us in our entirety knew what the gender of the baby was. Nobody knew, because we all wanted authentic reactions. Hey, my authentic reaction was when I found out we were having a girl. It was caught on camera, full-on disappointment. Can you imagine? I was disappointed. And my face, with its millions of expressions, chose to show intense disappointment. And so I felt so much mom guilt after that. Like, how can I be so disappointed that I'm having a boy and not a girl? What kind of mother am I? So it kept reinforcing, what kind of mother am I? I was the Maandamano chick. What kind of mother am I? I was drinking. What kind of mother am I? I'm not even happy to be having a girl. By then, nilijipeleka nyuma ya tent. My tent was Java. Nikajinunulia chocolate cake. Nikaketi kwa tibo peke yangu. Before that, nilipitia Biashara Street and bought the pinkest of pink outfits called Welcome Princess. Nikainunua, nikakuja, nikaeka hapo kwa table yangu kwa Java. Spread dress hapo peke yake. Next to it is a cake and a hot chocolate. People are just looking at me like, hey, that chick looks like she's going through something. We're not going to ask much. So the waiters would come, they watch what I'm doing, walk away. Nobody was asking until some brave lady asked, hey, are you okay? I'm like, I'm expecting a girl. She goes, you don't look happy. I'm like, I know, I'm working through those feelings. I sat there for 2 hours. I looked at that dress. I imagined my baby. And who is here now? Her name is Olive. In that outfit, I imagined taking her home. I imagined laughing with her, getting to know her, holding her, growing with her. And I realized that was going to be the most exciting journey I would start in my life. And my disappointment quickly changed into a quiet excitement and a longing to meet her. So here we are in trimester 3. Finally, we've made it through the scares of pain, the rushing to hospital at all manner of night hours because we are new moms and new dads and anything scares us. And I think even the hospital knows, and we are now at week 39, and I've decided I do not want to be pregnant anymore. I am peeing drops. I am turning with plans because my stomach is becoming impossible to turn. I am not sleeping. My clothes are not fitting, and I am tired, exhausted, and I'm tired of being pregnant. I want to meet this baby. So on the 26th of February, I took myself to AAR and I told them, you know what? This baby needs to come out. They're like, madam, ngojea tu, mtoto akona wakati wake, atakuja, enda tu nyumbani ulale vizuri. Aya. They convinced me. I went home. 27th, I was back. I was like, skizeni, jana mulini convince, leo hamni convince. This baby has to come out. She's full term. She's showing no signs of coming out. I am tired of exercise ball exercises and my pelvic turns and my sharp pain here because of the weight of the baby descending. It's time for this baby to come and I need to meet her. I think they realized if they don't deal with me now, they'll see me continuously until the baby comes. So they decided to admit me. First, they gave me food, which is probably why I was cranky. They gave me food, I ate food, then they admitted me. And then they decided to induce me. Now, for mothers who have been induced, it is a very invasive procedure as they put those tablets where they put them. And they told me, now utalala madam, itaanza labor. It will start the dilation process. Tukutane kesho. So they left me in my room with my husband who had come with his wonderful man. Amenibebea suitcase, amebeba exercise ball, amebeba blanketi. I think half of the house alibeba because I suddenly needed everything. Amekuja nazo, amerealize, kitanda ni moja. Akaona alale kwa couch yenye ina turn into kitanda. This was at AAR. Actually, that's where we decided we are going to have the baby in AAR. And the reason we decided to go with AAR is because it was the only hospital that allows for a doula. And the nurses are fantastic. We really had a good experience in terms of the nurses. So the next day, the doctor comes, Dr. Ajoy, who will be on this podcast, and he says, oh, you are only 2 centimeters. Uko na kazi mbele. Pambana. So he leaves. He's like, wataniita ikifika 6 centimeters. And this is something that I don't think I was fully prepared for. First, I knew I had certain expectations. I knew I was going to have a natural birth. I had spent the last 2 trimesters, trimester 2 and trimester 3, doing every YouTube exercise to prepare for a natural birth. I knew how to up breathe. I knew how to down breathe. I knew how to dance on a exercise ball. In fact, I think my neighbors used to see just a stomach dancing here on the floor because I was busy trying to prepare my pelvis to have a natural birth. I did all manner of exercises. I did all manner of stretches. Nilikuwa nimejipanga. I knew I was that mom. I was going to be the mom that would have a fast, seamless, natural birth and nothing else. I even had a birth plan. I went and told the doctor, mimi, ninataka hii lights, ikuwe hii degree, nataka hii music, nataka hii smell, mimi, nataka, don't breathe like this, breathe like this, usinipatie, nini, staki kuindusiwa, I'm strong woman, I am woman, hear me roar, hakuna uchungu I've gone through wasa pain. My periods, do you know what kind of periods I've dealt with? Mimi amunijui, hakuna uchungu itani let down. Mimi hata msinipatie hiyo nini, msinisaidie, msini-induce, msinipatie, inaitwa nini? Ile kitu wenye unadungwa inakusema epidural. Mimi usinipatie epidural. I can do this. I am a woman. Yes. Haya, nikasema, na mtaniacha mpaka ni dilate, hata musini force, we'll only begin labor when the water breaks. I'll wait the whole time. Surely how long could it take? Mimi huyo. So I remember when I gave Dr. Ajui that list of birth preferences, alicheka. Akacheka alafu aka serious face akasema yes, I take your requirements to heart and I will deliver them to the hospital. Na akacheka tena. Sasa mimi nilikuwa naona kama huyu mtu anani trigger. He does not believe that I can do this. And now, in hindsight, I understand why he left. You can hope for the best, but you need to plan for the worst, especially around birth. And I'm saying that with all seriousness, despite how I have been saying this story with as much humor. So I'm back to the hospital. We've been laboring now for 4 hours in the day. The next day, Esther, our doula, comes and we begin, I think, one of the most intimate experiences with my husband that I've had till date. We begin doing chakacha together to help baby descend. So nurses are walking in and they are finding two people doing chakacha. One is half naked, one is fully clothed, and their stomachs are touching as they dance together. And we danced for hours together. The guy never gave up. When I squat, he squats. When I sit on the bouncing ball, he also tries to do something similar. This guy was the ultimate labor wingman, if there's ever such thing. He took me through that journey without a sweat. I'm sure his knees were suffering, but he never showed it. Why? Because as far as I'm concerned, I was the one in pain. So the guy was crying huko in silence, being a man. Najua mwanaume ni effort, mwanaume ni kuwa tough. So hakufanya kitu. He was like, yes, I can do this. Where after the doula came, the guy was like, hey, I need a break. And he disappeared for a bit. So then the doula came, and her name is Esther. She'll also be on this podcast. Let me tell you, without Esther, I would not have gone through what I proceeded to go through. That lady was my strength. When they're checking your dilation, a nurse comes and they... Yes, please block your children's ears. And they are not pleasant, and they're not kind. And let's just say everybody knows how you look like inside and out. Your idea of privacy goes. So they kept doing that, and I think at some point along the journey, it triggered some bleeding. So from 2 centimeters onwards, I began bleeding. Not a lot, just drops. I'm walking and you just see blood and blood and blood, to the point that I stopped lying on the bed because the bed was getting bloody. And I started walking, and I would either be walking on the exercise ball or in the shower, which is one of the things I really love about AR, continuous hot water, which is so important when you're in the middle of active labor. And they have a seat on the shower, so you can sit down as the water just hits your back and helps you deal with the pain. Haya, 2 centimeters, mimi huyo. 3 centimeters, mimi huyo. 4, 5, 6 centimeters. Now it's been 10 hours of laboring. I'm now at 6 centimeters. Let me tell you, pain moved from cramps to pain. I think that was the beginning of pain. You are in so much pain, you start wondering whether you are questioning your life decisions. What was I thinking? What can I do? I start asking for an epidural. Mimi ndio nilikuwa nimesema sitaki epidural. Mimi the strong woman here, miro naanza kuuliza, naambiwa, madam, pole, ulipita 6 centimeters, no epidural available for you. But because you've come so far, we believe in you. We believe in you, my ass. We believe in you. We believe in you in what way? You're not sharing my pain. Aya, nurses ndio wameanza kuniambia, you can do it. You can do it. I'm like, you people, you are not serious. This is the kind of pain mothers go through. I started looking at my husband funny. Hiyo kuchakacha kudance, hiyo story ilisha. I didn't even want him to touch me. Nilikuwa namsukuma kwa kona. You are the one who put me here. You think about your life. I remember really becoming so harsh to this poor man. Reminding him he's the reason I'm here. 6 centimeters. Dr. Ajoy, my gynecologist, is now called, because now you're in active labor. So they know from 6, you're supposed to get up to 10 centimeters. 6 to 10 centimeters, they know itaenda haraka haraka. So anakuja, he's getting ready to come and do the birthing. Haya, between 6 to 8 centimeters, it took 4 hours. The bleeding had increased, the pain, to the point I think my whole body was now hurting. I started groaning, some sounds that I didn't even know were physically possible. If you had put my sounds or soundtrack in Catholic movie, you would have believed it was an exorcism happening based on the sounds I was making. It was feral. I was growling, cussing, doing everything. Tukafika 8 centimeters. Nikaambiwa sasa, madam, it's time to take you to the delivery room. The baby is now almost here. You've done such a good job, mama. You have 2 more centimeters and baby is here. You're still connected to that machine, which I had mentioned. So what happens when you're in labor is they connect you to a machine so that they can monitor the baby's heartbeat. Baby's heartbeat was calm. Olive was like, you know what, we can do this, mom. 14 hours in, Chiki's not tired. She was still hanging there on with me. And I think that's one of the most beautiful connections I've ever had in my life. My daughter really stuck it out with me. That strong little girl who is now busy talking back to me with unintelligible words. We are wheeled to the delivery room, and my husband, knowing me, puts on worship because that's music that really calms me and empowers me and inspires me, because I believe in God and I believe in the Lord Jesus Christ as my savior. So I depend on him. At some point, I just stopped trying to fight the pain. I even forgot to breathe. That up breathing and down breathing that I had been practicing for months went out of the window because of the pain. Tukafika 8 centimeters, 9 centimeters. Aya. The delivery room looks like a war zone. So much blood that my husband starts opening up some wet wipes and he's wiping the floor because he's so traumatized. He's like, what is this? Nimefanyia nini mtoto wa mwenyewe? This guy was so traumatized. He was supposed to be fanning me. I asked him, because I was getting hot. I asked him to fan me. He forgot to fan me. He started fanning himself because he was like, wait, I didn't sign up for this. What is happening with my wife? Why is this becoming so problematic? Yani, I had reached a point where I didn't care because of the pain. I was on all fours on the bed. So you can imagine, and I am facing the door. So no, my bum is facing the door. So anyone who walks in is just gonna find a chick on all fours. Bleeding. I was like, I don't care. This trauma, I'm sharing it. We are going to have it. To all of you in the hospital will deal with my trauma. We are in this together. That's what you said. So, Oneni, this is your biology class 101. Funny enough, the nurses were not fazed. The doctors were not fazed. Nobody was batting an eyelash. Even my doula, calm. Everybody was not moved. Mimi ndio nilikuwa naona kama nakufa. Haya. Ikafika 10 centimeters. 10 centimeters is now when you're supposed to be told, push. There's normally one sign. Okay, by the soon to be mothers, I'll just be honest with you. When you're ready to have a baby, what you're told is only start pushing. So you're told not to push the entire time because the baby has not entered the birth canal. You're told to only start pushing when you feel like pooping. So when you have this urge to poop, is when you're told, you tell your doctor, I feel like pooping. Can you imagine a whole adult, you're busy telling your doctor, is it okay now? I feel like pooping. And then the doctor says, are you sure? I'm like, yes, I feel like pooping. And then they call a nurse. Now there's different levels of nurses. There's nurse who can now come and check for sure the dilation. So a lady comes, she checks dilation, she feels the head, she's like, hey, anyway, we are close. Higher, but hold, don't push yet, don't push yet, don't push yet. So I'm trying my best not to poop, not to poop in front of these people because that's what I feel like. And then the room goes silent all of a sudden. And the nurse calls the doctor, the doula, my husband, and says, I can see the head, but the baby is not descending. And now we are 10 centimeters. The baby should be descending. This is the stage the baby should be coming out. I think the baby is stuck. And they're not telling me. They have whispered there in the corner like a little committee. While I'm there crying and growling and saying all manner of things and telling God, why me? I was even singing, why me, Lord? Yani I'd got to a point where my body was like, enough with the pain. We're not doing this anymore. So the nurse comes and checks again, and she feels the head, and the doctor tells her, can you pull? She says, no, I can't, but the baby is definitely stuck. So my doula says, okay, Ivy, we're at the final stage. You've done so well. All of them now are coming like a committee of it's like an intervention. All of them are surrounding my bed and they're like, you've done so well. You are so strong. There's no one like you. You are the ultimate mother. Like, your body was made for this. You are a strong woman. Hata ujalia sana. I'm telling you, sweet words falling on deaf ears. And then they say, but the baby is not descending. So Esther says, I have one more thing we can do. And believe me, every time we have done this move, the baby just descends and comes out of the birth canal. Haya. Sasa, akaniambia, haya, shuka kwa kitanda, nikashuka. Akaniambia, do some squats. Mimi huyo, 10 squats. 1, 2, 3, 10. Haya, akasema, that's good, very good. And I can see uko na form bado. Uko na form. Haya. Akaniambia kuja hii side ingine kwa kitanda. Haya, sasa nataka, so the bed is like this. Nataka, wacha hata niwaonyeshe because I cannot forget this. Ananiekea pillow, ananiambia, sasa nataka usimame ubend. I'm pregnant. With your head ikuje huku, hii side ingine, na tumbo huku, na usimame. Usimame. Haya. I bent. Akaniambia, haya, now do it again. I stand up, I fall back again. Haya, she says, one more time. I stand up, I lean back. She's like, okay, let's give it a few minutes, see whether the baby will come down. Haya, 1 minute feels like forever. 5 minutes feels like, mimi now the end of the earth is over. 10 minutes, nothing. Then she says, okay, let me just go talk to the doctor. That time, a Joe is there at the corner. He's like, my husband, the doula, the nurse, everybody leaves and goes outside the room. Kumbe, they're having a discussion. And the discussion is, we have done everything medically possible, scientifically possible, biologically possible. We don't understand why this baby is not coming. Now, your wife is tired, your baby is getting tired. Mr. Andrew, you need to make the decision. Here, sign these papers, giving us permission and consent to take her into theater for an emergency CS. Kumbuka hakuna mtu ananiambia, mimi bado hapo I'm laboring knowing I am having a natural birth. And then Joey says, but there's a catch. The person who handles the pain meds, anaitwa anesthesiologist, hata sijui hiyo jina. Anesthesiologist. He is 45 minutes away in traffic. So we can't tell her, but we need to encourage her not to get tired for the next 45 minutes because he's the one I trust and the only one I will allow in theater with me. So let's do something. Let's try something. One more thing as we wait for him. Let's give her Pitocin. Now, I'm even gonna sit up. Pitocin is a synthetic drug meant to increase your contractions. Synthetic. So contractions are naturally brought on in your body. They bring pain, but they also give you oxytocin. So whenever there's a contraction, your brain knows pain is coming. So to sort of help you manage with the pain, they give you it produces oxytocin to sort of make it enjoyable. I don't know how to explain it, as in you don't feel the full impact of the pain. On top of that, contractions, when they're natural, have a break. By the time you're 10 centimeters, your contractions give you a break every 1 minute or so. So it starts with, that's how you know you're dilating. 10 minutes, then 6 minutes, then 5 minutes, but it reduces. So by 10 centimeters, your contractions are now 1 minute apart. When you take Pitocin, you're getting synthetic drug into your body that increases. So if you say your pain is at 100%, Pitocin takes your pain to 250% without producing the oxytocin in your brain and without giving you a break. So you go from breathing, knowing this contraction is coming, you're mentally preparing, to your brain saying, okay, a bit of oxytocin, and your body understanding the level of pain to constant pain at 250% with no oxytocin. So they put the Pitocin in a drip and they say, Ivy, we think that if we put you on this, the baby will come because the contractions will push her out. My friend, they put that Pitocin in a drip on my hand. And after that, whereas before with natural contractions, I could walk around and sit on the ball and go to the shower, which became a little routine for me to manage the pain. So when I knew the pain was coming, I'd quickly rush to the shower or sit on the ball or walk. You now have to lie down on the bed. So you're stuck in one place, dealing with 250% more pain that is constant and no oxytocin. That thing hit my body. I started hallucinating. I started talking about Jah. I started talking about Hindu gods and Buddhists. I told God, it's been a nice life. I thank him. Yeah, I was just like, I'm writing my will. Please, I would like this to go to this person. And I kept talking, and everybody around me is like, what are you talking about? I'm like, please leave me alone. I need to trip in peace. The level of pain I'm feeling, let me just hallucinate in peace. I don't want to see anyone. I don't want anyone to breathe next to me. All of you cease to exist, because I am now fighting for my life. That Pitocin was in my body for 45 minutes, to the point that my body was like, enough. It was so much pain. Physically, my stomach was moving up and down. I started shivering. I had fever. I was seeing things that were not real. And I was feeling like I was alone and abandoned, despite being in a room full of people, because nobody could understand the level of pain. I just hear, Ivy, we are going to theater now. And I'm being wheeled, but I'm not even, sijijui. I can't even comprehend left, right. I don't know where my husband is. I don't know where the doula is. I don't know where anyone is. I don't even care. I'm just there now holding my stomach and talking to my baby and saying, I'm so sorry. Please stay with me. We can do this. And my voice is getting weaker and weaker because I'm getting tired. I keep saying, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. My husband is next to me on the bed saying, babe, you can do this. Almost there, almost there. But then at some point, his voice disappears because there's a line that you cross when you're going to theater that he couldn't cross because it was an emergency CS. In cases where it's a planned CS, your husband is normally dressed up and they can join you in the CS room. But because it was emergency, there's only so far he could go. So I went in alone. I'm there alone with new people. I can't see my doula. I don't know where my doctor is because he's gone ahead to prepare theater. So I'm surrounded by men who I don't know, in pain, alone. My body is giving up. The pain is so much, I've stopped trying to fight it. And then I'm told, madam, you need to move yourself from this bed to this bed. First, they tell me, I don't even think we can do the procedure because you have a piercing. You need to remove that piercing. I am going through Pitocin. I'm in pain. I'm on a bed alone. You're telling me you can't do the surgery because I have a piercing. And you're telling me on top of that I need to move myself to another bed. I don't know what I told that guy, but whatever I told him, he carried me, said sorry, and took me to the theater. And kept apologizing the remainder of the time. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. When I got to theater, again, the specialists say the same thing. We can't do the procedure because you have a piercing. I just had my doctor saying, no, leave it. We are not going to use that medicine or that, I don't know what he said. It's okay, leave the piercing. This is an emergency. Put her on the table now. Now, the thing about emergency CS that maybe people who've not gone through it need to know is the first thing you're told to do is to sit up. So now I'm lying on the new bed where the guy has put me, and then I'm told, sit up, because they need to put the anesthesia on your spine. There's a particular part on your back they must put it. Now, you must be 100% still, so you can't move as they put that injection in. And there are several injections because you have so many nerves on your spine that if you shake, they might end up putting the injection in the wrong place, which could cause you complications on your back. So the anesthetician is telling me, sit still. Kumbuka bado tumbo ndio inasonga up and down. Bado mi niko na hiyo chungu ya Pitocin. I don't know, front, back, left, right, center. I'm hallucinating still. I don't know how I ended up holding my whole body to be still. But he had to convince me. Then he injects me, and then he tells me, lie down. And then I tell him, I have a problem with anesthesia. I have had an operation before and the anesthesia did not kick in. Please add more. He says, I've been doing this for a while. It's okay. Itashika. Usijali. Nikasema, no, please, just listen to me. This thing does, he's like, it's okay, I got you. Don't worry, itashika. Haya. They open my gown and a Joey is there with a really sharp knife. The first cut, I feel them cutting into my stomach, the pain. I feel the pain. I feel the knife slicing my stomach open. I scream because it is another layer of pain. Kumbuka, I'm at 10 centimeters dilation. I now have Pitocin in my system. The anesthesia has not kicked in and I feel that first slice. I screamed. I just had a Joey just saying, put her down now. That is the last thing I remember. I woke up, I don't know how long later. The last thing I'd remembered, I was pregnant. I put my hands on my stomach, no baby. I'm alone in a room. I can't move because the anesthesia is still in my body and I'm numb. I can't feel left or right, so I can't move. But there's no stomach, there's no baby in my stomach. There's no one to ask what is wrong, whether the baby is okay, what happened, why am I alone, where is everyone? I actually thought I was dead. I thought I woke up in a morgue and it was my ghost because that place was so deadly silent. I was there alone for 45 minutes. I think that was the worst form of torture I've ever had. And even when I was giving my feedback to AAR, this is why I said they failed. You should never leave a mom who has gone through such a traumatic experience, which is emergency CS or any CS, on their own. Because the thoughts that go through your mind are traumatic. I didn't know, was the baby okay? I didn't know what happened. I had no clue. Where is my husband? Where is my baby? Why is no one taking me? Those 45 minutes were some of the worst. I think in hindsight, that was probably worse than even the Pitocin because my thoughts were just going crazy. I was having panic attacks. I was feeling all manner of negative emotions. And I didn't know who to talk to. I didn't know whether to cry or laugh. I was not sure what to feel. It was a dark, dark moment for me. 45 minutes later, I see a guy. I say, hi. I shout, I think, several times until he comes and I say, hi, is my baby okay? Where is everyone? Why am I alone? He says, what's your name? I say, my name is Ivy. I came in for a procedure, a baby. I had an emergency CS. I don't know where my baby is. Is she okay? No one has told me anything. He goes for another 15 minutes. Comes back and says, okay, your baby is fine. So calm down, which is not the greatest thing to tell a woman in that state. And then he says, they're coming to pick you. So 15 minutes later, they came, took me from the room I was in, which I think was still in theater, and wheeled me back to my room, where I found my husband kangarooing with the most beautiful yet weirdly ugly looking alien child. Like she looked like an old person, an angry old person being held, and he was talking to her and telling her how beautiful she is. I was like, yo, you are tripping. How amazing she is, how happy he is that she's there. And then he put her in my arms, and I felt nothing. No connection, no love, no joy, nothing. So I started condemning myself for it. What is wrong with me? How can they put my baby in my arms and I'm not feeling anything? Am I really going to be a good mom? Maybe I'm not the right person for this. So I gave the baby back to the dad. Imagine. And I just got on my bed and I just quietly sat by myself. It took me 2 weeks before I connected with Olive. And now I understand it's because of the trauma of what we went through. And it was also traumatic for her. I found out that when I screamed in the theater, she went into panic and she pooped in the stomach. So it became even more of an emergency. And the little gangster that she is came out looking very badly at the doctor. Like, what is wrong with you? You had one job. So even her, she was traumatized. Now, the reason why we are having this conversation, and I'm even having this podcast, because it was not my plan to be a mom, but I became a mom. And I have taken, we're now at 6 months to heal. But the reason why we're having this podcast is because I want mothers to have an honest and candid discussion about motherhood, not glamorizing it, not making it, the horses and the unicorns and the rainbows and the flowers, having an honest conversation about the good, the bad, the ugly of giving birth. Because we need to speak out and support each other and help each other. But the only way we can do that is if we speak out about our experiences. We don't filter, we don't gloss over them, we say the truth. Because the truth will help the next mom prepare for this journey. It is honestly the most amazing and rewarding journey you'll ever have, because you're raising a human being, a future leader, a person with a destiny, a person capable of changing the world, and you've been given the responsibility of taking care of them. That is beautiful. But the journey to bring them here is not always beautiful. It was painful, it was traumatic, and I wish I knew so much. I wish I had been told, I know you want a natural birth, but prepare for a CS. I wish that is something that had been told, because a reason why my recovery took as long as it did is because I had not mentally prepared to go through that trauma. I wish other mothers had told me what it's like to be in emergency CS, what it was like, the fact that you will not connect with your child immediately, the pain you will feel on the scar that you're gonna have to carry for the rest of your life, the fact that the mom who went into that hospital, or the girl or the woman who went into that hospital, is not the person who comes out. She dies, and a new woman comes out of the hospital without a baby. I wish someone had told me that and told me, grieve the woman you were before, because you're never gonna see her again. She's gone. In her place is another person. And I wish someone had told me that it's okay to feel the way I was feeling, not that I have to feel a certain way, that I must love my child, that I must look a certain way, that I must showcase this amazing postpartum. I remember the first month, and that's the next season of the podcast, was hell. I wish we had more conversations, more candid conversations about the experience of bringing life into this world. And even what it will do to you, what it will do to your partner, and what it takes to have that child come on this side. That is what I'd wished for. And that is why I'm having this conversation. That's why I started this podcast. To have an honest and candid conversation with mothers all around. And that is exactly what you're going to hear. These are the stories you're going to hear. You're going to hear stories of mothers and their different birth experiences, the good, the bad, the ugly. You're going to hear experts who will give you expert advice, things that you wish you had known to navigate and to make your pregnancy and your birth a little bit easier, because the more knowledge you have, the more empowered you are. So, welcome to Mama Zone, and welcome to this journey of becoming a mother. Thank you very much for joining us for yet another episode of Mama Zone. Please share, subscribe, cheer, cry, do everything in between, and we'll see you next time.